Now, for those of you who started doing layers, you must be curious about when are these birds going to start laying eggs. What are some of the signs that I'm going to see, to know that these birds are yet to lay eggs? How do I prepare for them if they're approaching the egg laying period? That is what I'm going to talk about today. You are welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're watching me for the very first time, my name is Asperia. First, like this video, and then we continue into it. Leave a comment for us. How is farming? Are you a farmer? Are you planning to be one? Let's get to know each other. So let's dive into the video. Now, the whole reason why you started doing layers farming, like poultry farming, especially venturing into layers, is because you want to get eggs, you want to sell eggs and get money. So as your birds start growing, you get curious to know when are they starting to lay, like how am I going to feel even after seeing the eggs? And that is the same way I felt exactly. Now when you're doing it, is just like betting. You keep putting in your money, and mind you, layers chew a lot of money. You are going to feed them for the first 6 months before they can give you some profits. So you'll be curious, you'll be asking, what if they are not layers? What if they affect me? When you start these birds from day one, you don't actually know. Sometimes we just start without knowing whether these birds are layers, whether they are broilers. So number one, the very first thing you need to know, first know that everything has its own time and purpose under this heaven. Now there's time for you to care for these birds. There is a time for them to lay. Before the time comes, they are not going to lay eggs. So as you do this work of feeding, caring, treating, do it with patience and with hope that your birds are going to start laying. So for the layers, those of you who are doing like a breed that I do, most of them start laying at week 16. Those are the early birds, like week 16. Others can start at week 17. Others can go as far as week 19 before they start laying. It also depends on how you've been feeding them, how you've been treating them, whether they got some chronic illnesses, whether they got, so a lot of factors to consider before you ask about when they start laying. So if you started your birds from day one, you are really convinced that you have been feeding them in the right way, you have given them enough and good feeds, clean, you have treated them in case they were sick, you have fully vaccinated them, you did everything that it took, the birds are perfectly fine, they are healthy, then you need to watch out for the eggs. By week 16, they are going to start laying. Now when they start laying, the whole poultry house is not going to lay. They are going to lay slowly by slowly, one egg at a go. Sometimes you find one egg. Some people start with seeing 3 birds, 4 birds, depending. But for our case, I saw the very first egg in my poultry farm here. And so other birds continue to follow. Now by week 19, at least 50% of the birds were laying the eggs. As time went on, by week 24, almost 90% of the birds were laying eggs. By 26 weeks, at least, I'm telling you, all these birds were laying eggs, So the very first sign you will see as these birds approach the laying season, you're going to see their combs change. Now these birds, as they grow, there are a lot of noticeable changes that happen on their bodies, but this particularly happen when they are about to lay eggs. Their combs, they become more red and noticeable and big, So when you see those combs, just know that the laying season is knocking on the door. Also, after those combs, they start shedding off their feathers. At some point, I looked in the poultry house. I thought maybe some animal entered and chewed my birds without my idea. I found the entire house was full of feathers, and I had to do research. I had called my vet to see whether there is a problem, and he told me that is a sign that your birds are soon laying eggs. So when you find that your birds are shedding a lot of feathers, always pick those feathers and throw them out, and then wait for the eggs. And then another thing you need to consider, you need to look at the weight. Now these birds, they continue to change in weight as they grow. At least before they start laying, they should be at least 2 kilograms. That is, catch the bird, lift it up, and you find that it is heavy. For us, we even had a weighing scale. We had to weigh these birds to see whether the weight is really normal, and then we wait for the eggs. So many things that happen when these birds are going to lay eggs. And then now for us, we introduce the laying boxes, and I would also encourage you to introduce laying boxes a little bit early before they start laying, and that helps them to prepare and learn about the laying boxes. Now when you put these laying boxes, you always find birds enter there, they sleep, they try to get you. So as time goes on, the very first bird will go there and it is going to lay the egg, and you will find the egg there or many eggs there. So introduce the laying boxes at as early as week 14, so that these birds get used to the new changes in the poultry farm. So when you bring the laying boxes, you find that those birds that are ready, they always enter there and be there. I think they also feel a lot of changes in their body. And also another thing that you notice when they're about to lay eggs, you notice that they start eating a lot of food. Like as they approach the laying period. So the moment you start seeing the high consumption of feeds and a lot of water, just know that these birds are growing, and very soon they are going to give me the eggs. A lot of things you're going to see. And another thing you will notice some change in the sound. There are those sounds that they make when they're about to lay eggs, which are not really the ones they have been making as they are growing. So when you notice those things, just know that the egg season is. So prepare to receive the eggs. Have the laying boxes, buy the trays, prepare the place that you're going to store the eggs from, and then be ready. You don't have to find eggs down in the litter and then you now plan to buy the laying boxes. Have the laying boxes as soon as possible. So that is all for today that I had to share with you. If you found this video helpful, like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe.